The Selection by Kira Cass. Hello. Yes, and there's my bookshelf behind me. The book review is on The Selection by Kira Cass, and here it is. The Selection by Kira Cass. The cover is blue, and it's really pretty. And the cover without it is just the crown. And the second one is coming out April 13th, 2013. And it's going to be called The Elite, because she's now an elite. And the book cover is called The Elites, I believe. Okay, so, I'm just going to leave the book up. I'm not going to do that. So, I wrote some stuff on my phone. I wrote some notes about it. So I might be looking down sometimes. Sorry about that. You tell me if you like the new setup with my bookshelf. Yeah, there's more books on the bottom, but whatever. That's what my camera sees. And I'm missing a shelf here. So yes. So I really liked The Selection. Kira Cass wrote it. And it is it's similar, not completely similar, but it's the same idea maybe as the Hunger Games, where there's a group of people that go to win a prize or like win a competition, and only one of them's gonna win. Well, I mean, in the Hunger Games, if you read it, that's totally different. But yeah, that's the overall plot. So, non-spoiler section. A girl named America. The Selection is basically a game in a way for girls between the age of 16 and 20 to try to become a royalty, or is in their community it's called a 1. It goes from 1 through 8, 1 being, royalty, 2 being like extremely rich, 3 being like upper class, 4 being like lower middle, 5 being servants, or 5 being lower, 4 being middle, 6 being servants completely, 7 being basically uneducated but they have housing, and 8 is basically homeless people. So yes, I went through all of those. So yes, she's a 5, and she lives with her family. She's the third child out of 5, so she's the middle child. And her parents they're not very wealthy because they're 5s, and they want her to try and apply for the selection. The selection's when the prince does this thing where it's a game, and the 35 girls, one from each province, sort of, one from each area of the country, and I have no clue how to pronounce the country's name, but I'll show you what it looks like. It is called Illea. Right there. Illea. No, yeah, Illea. So I am not sure. I think it's Elea maybe. So she's from Carolina, and she gets picked for her state, and that happens within the first 50 pages of the book, so that's not really spoiler. And they're trying to win over Prince Maxon, and it basically consisted of 35 girls, and they narrowed it down to 10, which are considered the elites. So now I'm gonna non-spoiler. If you haven't read the book, go back, get the book, read it, and come back right now and watch the spoiler section, because you don't want to ruin it for yourself. So, not Cass. What am I calling her? Well, America. Her name's America, and she doesn't really want to try out for the selection. Her parents basically are like, well, she's into music and she performs and for like classes like 2s and 3s in like their special formal events. So their parents are like, well, America, if you even just apply for the selection, you'll get to keep half of your paycheck to spend it however you want, and that's a big deal for her. So I am looking down again. And her mom wants the money to, benefit Gerald and May and the rest of her family because her father works really hard, her mom works as maid, and they are quite poor. It's in a dystopian world, like most books nowadays. It's dystopian, and it's called Leia, as I mentioned before. I think that's how it's pronounced, but correct me if you do know how it's pronounced. And it's a contest like the Hunger Games. He's trying to find his true love. Well, I mean, yeah, true love. I didn't need to put air quotes around true love. Oops. The number system, it doesn't really explain it until afterwards. Like, until she gets into the games, you don't know what a 1 is, or 4, or 3, or 2, or 5. You kind of figure it out that it has to do with class, not like classiness, but like actual class, or not school class, but like class like economically, I want to say. So, America's a 5. And she's in love with Aspen, who's their next door neighbor, and they've been in love for 2 years, and he's a 6. And she really loves him, and this is before the games, and she really wants to marry him. But Aspen's like, no, I don't want you to make your life worse, worrying about all the things, and belittle yourself to become a 6. That's what basically he says. He breaks up, and then the next day, she gets chosen for the selection, and everybody's so excited. And the first day, when she goes to the palace, she's talking to, she gets like claustrophobic, and she decides she has to run out and get some fresh air. And Prince Maxon is standing over there, and the guards are like, miss, you cannot go outside. And Maxon's like, oh, let her go. And she completely they both get outside, and she's like, oh, he's so shallow, and she basically says, oh, he's so shallow, he's only looking for a girl with looks, stuff like that. But, but she actually really does end up falling for him. And then the huger plot twist is that Aspen was enrolled in the draft, and she knew about that kind of before. And the draft is basically you become a 2, and he's right now a 6, so that's a huge deal for him. And he enrolls, and he does make it in, and then he ends up working at the palace, and they both see each other. So now America is wondering, does she want to be with Aspen or what's his name? Prince Maxon, or Maxon. And I'm waiting. When I first read his name, I was waiting for him to call him to say, oh, you guys can call me Prince Max or something, because never heard the name Maxon before. So back to my phone. Yeah, I left it on a short stool thing. Yes. So, Marley is one of her really good friends, and she is one of the 6 elites. The 6 elites are, let's see if I can remember them, because I just finished this book and I was so excited. So the 6 elites are America, Celeste, which is like the snobby person, and the mean girl person, that's Celeste. Celeste, America, Marley, which is her friend, and then there's Celeste, America, Marley. I'm gonna look this up. You guys can look at the Prey color while I look. Okay, so as I talk, Kiera Cass wrote this, and she does have a really great writing style. It's not slow. It really keeps you interested, and even when they fight, they do get back together. So at the end, there's been stuff going on like attacks. And Prince Maxton decides that if the girls aren't going to be a great fit for him, he just wants to let them go home. And this is really early in the process, and it's not, he doesn't want to feel guilty about it, like having them like die or something. So the six girls are Lady Marley, Lady Chris, Lady Natalie, Lady Celeste, and Lady Elise and Lady America. And the other girls are basically just for political reasons, like, oh, she's good with New Asia, which is a state. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because it is kind of a mixed up world. It's using the world, the dystopian world is in the book is basically the whole world with some exceptions and some changes. And they're basically like, it talks about their history, and they've had World War III with President Wallace and stuff like that. It's completely different now, and yes, I really thoroughly enjoyed Kira Cass's writing style, how she wrote it. I did ramble on a little bit about the book, but I was excited because I haven't done a book review in such a long time, and I haven't uploaded one in such a long time. Oops. Bad Aaron, yes. So I hope you enjoyed this book review. I really enjoyed reading this book. I picked this book up around 11 o'clock. It's right now 3, and yes, I really liked it. If you haven't read it, go pick it up from your library. And yes, if you haven't read it, you shouldn't have been on this part. This was the spoiler section, but whatever. Yes, really good book. Thoroughly recommended. Bye. Come on, close.